Halloween is over, so as far as I'm concerned, it's Christmas time. So when I was a kid, my mom had a pretty strict, but I think fair policy regarding snooping kids and Christmas presents. She told us that if we, my sister and I, found out what our Christmas gifts were, then those gifts would be donated to kids who don't snoop. I bring this up because I would like to ask any of my family members, Mom, Bev, I'm talking to you, to turn this video off. If you find out what I'm knitting for you, I will donate it to moms that don't snoop. Seriously. If we're related, if we're friends, if you know that I'm going to make you something for Christmas, please turn this off. The best part of giving gifts, especially handmade gifts, is the surprise element of it. So please, if I know you, turn it off. I mean it. It's really important to me that this is a surprise. Okay, today I'm talking about all of the things that I am going to make, mostly knit, for Christmas. I have a lot in front of me. I have a lot of plans. It's November 2nd right now, and I've gotten a little bit of a start, but I have a long way to go. So, let's do a little tally first. Bare minimum, I intend on knitting 4 sweaters, 2 Christmas stockings, 4 scarves, 2 beanies, 2 pairs of fingerless mitts. That's my bare minimum plans, things that I need to get out as Christmas or seasonal birthday gifts. There are, of course, other things that I would like to make and add to the mix if I have time. That's a big if. I also do find that small things like beanies and cowls and mittens and make nice little palette cleansers, especially during the holiday season when you know you can use them as gifts. So I'm hoping to also get out a couple, maybe not cowls, but infinity scarves or mittens. But let's talk about the things that are in front of me right now, because there's plenty here. I actually already have a Christmas gift finished object. I got started a couple weeks ago thinking I could get a little bit of a head start on it, and I ended up with a lot more time to work on it than I expected because, as mentioned in my felt pumpkin video, I had COVID, and I ended up with a lot of time at home quarantining, which is almost over now. I'm gonna go back to work tomorrow, thankfully, but I actually completely finished this sweater I had planned. So, like I talked about in my podcast, I had this mohair from Magpie Fibers, which is really pretty. It's the feather base. The colorway is Tactical. I didn't think I had enough of this to make the whole sweater. Clearly I did, because I'm done and I still have half a skein left, which it went really far. And then I also at Rhinebeck bought 7 skeins of this Lamb's Pride wool mohair blend, which is really pretty. I love it so much. You can see them together. They're exactly the same tone of green, this like very warm green, but they're slightly different shades. So marbled together, they look really great. Like I said, I bought 7 of these. I thought I was buying basically exactly enough to make this cardigan, but I have 2.5 of these left over and half a skein of the mohair left over. So I might try to do a slip over with it or something later. I don't know, because I really love the color, but I don't need it anymore. I made this home cardigan. Oof. I love it so much. I chose to do this one first because I had knit this twice before and I was kind of familiar with the pattern and I thought I could knock it out pretty quick. And I did. I love the colors marbled together. I think it came out great. I found these buttons in my stash. So it all came together very quickly. I'm very proud of this one. I love it. Okay, so 3 more sweaters. And those I have less tangible things to show for. One I have already cast on. Since I have 4 sweaters and so many accessories to make for Christmas, my plan is generally to always have 1 sweater on the needles and 1 accessory on the needles and just keep going until I'm done. So I cast this one on this morning. It's, you know, super impressive right now. It's just ribbing. But it's going to be, I believe it's called the Zuni Cardigan, which I think is so pretty. It's got just a little bit of color work. So I've got a bunch of these. This is caked up, but these are the original hanks. So these are half hanks from Knit Crate. They came in sets of 4 when they did the monthly subscription box, but I got a bunch of these in a big pack on sale after that. This colorway is called Fresco, and I think I had like 15 of them or 10 of them. I don't know. It's got to be more than 10 because that's only 1,000. There's 100 yards in each half hank. So I think I had 15 at least. I have a ton of them. I have a few caked up in here that I've already started on this ribbing. It's very long ribbing at the base of this sweater, and these needles are smaller than I would expect for a worsted weight yarn. So it's kind of already a little bit tedious, but I think once I get into the stockinette and the color work, then it will be a little less so. So obviously I've already shown the picture on screen, so you can kind of see what the color work looks like. I have these colors also. So these are from the same line. Like I said, when they sent you the pack in the Knit Crate subscription, you got 4 different colorways. And it was a half hank of each, because normally you get 2 full hanks for a month, so they sent you 4 half hanks. So I'm going to use these for the color work. The Zuni Cardigan only calls for 2 contrast colors, but I don't know that I'll have enough of any one of them. I'm going to kind of weigh it as I do it. I don't know. I'm overcomplicating it because this sweater is worked flat. It's a back panel, 2 front panels, and 2 sleeves all worked flat, and all 4 have identical color work. So it's going to be really difficult for me to determine mathematically after I do just the one panel, like, oh, is this going to go far enough, or do I need to mix it up? So what I think I'm going to do, since there's 3 stripes of color work all the way up that are each partially on all 5 panels, I'm probably going to do like the top stripe and the bottom stripe in the same 2 colors, and then do the middle stripe in a complementary but different color, just to make sure that I have enough to stretch it all the way. And I thought I had another, here it is. I was like, I swear that I had a 4th color. So it's not very different, but you can kind of see it's different enough for color work, especially just for the one stripe. So I would think my gut is to do these for the stripes. Maybe, yeah, like this, I think. But we'll see how it turns out. I just got into this one this morning, but I think it's going to be really pretty. It's going to be a lot of ends to weave in though, with these tiny little hanks. The only other project I've started so far is this one. I'm actually going to be effectively making 4 of these, but I'm making them in 2 pairs of 2. So I have several family members who are very into NFL and who live in cities with NFL teams, and you know, like to attend games and root for their respective teams. So I bought patches on eBay, and I'm kind of just like making it up as I go. I'm gonna make 2 Steeler scarves that are this kind of like 2-color brioche edge at the bottom in lieu of fringe, because I think fringe looks so pretty on scarves, but it's so impractical. So I'm kind of doing like the visual effect of fringe with this 2-color brioche at the bottom, and then it's just garter stitch but with some stripes thrown in. I had different plans. I kind of started this off with an entirely different motif with a lot of stockinette with like some ribbed border on it, and I found that by the time I got a few inches into it, I was already tired of it. It was already tedious to have to think about how many stitches to do the border at the beginning of every row, and I was like, there's no way I'm gonna make 4 of these. I mean, they're scarves, so they end up being probably 6 or 7 feet a piece of just the boring stripe part, and I was like, I can't even wrap my head around having to do 28 feet of this stitch. So I ripped it back to my brioche section, and I just started doing garter, and I think it's clean enough. I think it's tight enough. It does the trick. Garter's nice and warm. It's gonna be great. So my goal is to do the 2 Steelers scarves. I'm gonna sew a patch on the bottom of one side of each scarf. By the way, this is in Swish Worston from Knit Picks. And for some reason, when I bought this, I absolutely did not buy enough to do, I don't know, I think I had like a different scarf design in my head when I chose the quantities, and I think I bought probably half as much as I actually need, so I'm going to have to order more for all 4 scarves. But I've got the yellow and black for the Steelers scarves, and then in my big basket of Christmas projects here, see if I can find it. Okay. For my 2 Bills fans, I'm going to be doing the exact same thing. For my Bills fans, I'm using Serene and Serrano, which is kind of a goofy combination. And I also did get 1 skein of white because, I don't know, the white adds such good contrast for the Bills colors. I could also use the white to contrast with the Steelers, but I don't know if I need it. I guess I'll find out. But that's the plan, is to make 4 of the same scarf with that brioche detail at the bottom, garter stitch ribs all the way around, and then attach the little NFL patches at the bottom to make it city specific. And, you know, go team. I hate football. Whatever. I love people who love football, so that's why I do it. Okay, we've talked about 2 of the 4 sweaters. Alright, so for my husband, I also ordered from Knit Picks. I got Wool of the Andes, and this is in the colorway Merlot Heather. I previously made him a sweater from this book, Dapper by Knit Picks, also from Wool of the Andes, but I made it for his birthday, which is in March. It's March 31st actually, so I literally gave it to him on the last day of March, and it's just, you know, a wool sweater. So he hasn't worn it at all because I gave it to him when cold season was over, but hopefully he'll get some wear out of it this year. And I chose this for the Rockland Sweater. I'll put a picture on the screen so it's clearer. But I think it's really cute. I think it'll suit him well. He likes simple designs, but he does like simple detailed designs is what I mean to say. Does that make sense? It kind of sounds oxymoronic, but I mean, I think he'll like the texture of it. I think it doesn't have any flashy colors. It has colors that suit him, but it's not boring. I got more than these. I have a whole 10 pack, but it's still sealed in the plastic over there, so I'm going to leave it like that. I'm excited to get started on it. This is one of those things, I know it's kind of like a trope out there that people have done it, but I can absolutely knit this Christmas sweater in front of him for Christmas season, and he'll never know. His birthday sweater I absolutely worked on in front of him in panels, and then I just sewed it together and blocked it when he was out of town, and he none the wiser. I'll probably do the same thing on this one. I am also planning on making him a hat and fingerless mitts set. Can't for the life of me remember what they're called, but here they are. I'm sure I have it written down, and you know what they are. I did talk about this already because I have yarns that I purchased at Rhinebeck. This pattern calls for main color, which I got this really nice, just all black prime alpaca, and then 3 contrast colors. And I got, like I talked about in the podcast, 2 identical minis sets of these 4 colors. I don't know which of them I'll use as the contrast colors, but this is his type of color palette, I think. This will suit him, and they struck me. So I'm going to choose 3 of the 4 to use in this pattern. Last year I made him a set of fingerless mitts and a hat that he really loves and he's gotten a lot of wear out of, so I wanted to do the same thing and kind of replicate that this year. These are fingering weight, so, you know, I'll get through it. I'm not super great at knitting fingering weight things because I have a shorter attention span than they require, but, you know, it's a gift. I have a deadline. It's out of love, so I'll deal with it. Another sweater, I keep bouncing, I keep going sweater, not sweater, sweater, not sweater, and even though I told myself I was going to do all the sweaters up front. But it makes sense, right? Because I already started the scarves. I've got to show you the scarves, and then I'm making him 2 things, so showing them at the same time. All right. I'm back with FOMO. I've talked about FOMO before. I've nearly finished myself a sweater out of FOMO, the Primavera sweater that I've been working on for a while. I really love this stuff. I think this is just like tremendously underrated. It's been discontinued. It was barely an active line from Lion Brand. And when it was discontinued, they went on clearance on their website, and I bought a bunch of it at a really, really good price, and I have a lot. You might think that it's like cheap of me to decide to make a Christmas gift out of this yarn that I got at like an extremely low price. So like functionally the sweater that I'm making will have cost like $10 or $12 or whatever. But I actually cherish this yarn, and it was a difficult decision for me to choose to use this to give to somebody else rather than just going out and buying some fancy mohair or something like I kind of shopped for at Rhinebeck, because I kind of want to hold on to this for myself forever. But it's really nice. I think it will work for the person I'm making it for, who is always cold, just like me, and won't mind having like an acrylic mohair situation, because I don't think that they will overheat wearing it. This I plan on making the Tender Leaves Cardi, which was all sorts of complicated. I kind of thought about starting it instead of the home cardigan, and I pulled up the instructions and got like mentally all turned around and didn't know where to go, and I was like, nah, I'm just gonna start the home cardigan because I know how to do that. I've done it before. So now that that's done, I started the Zuni cardigan. I don't know, as soon as I can finish that, I'll probably move on to this one, or more likely the Rockland one, because I'm going to save the hardest one for last, because that's how I function. Anyway, this is the colorway Barley. It's a beautiful neutral. It's very fluffy. It's super soft and super warm, especially at the price point. I'm going to make that Tender Leaves cardigan for Christmas. And, all right, so now, okay, there are 2 more things that I'm going to make that I don't have yarn picked out for, but I've got enough in stash, and they're low enough, or they're small enough accessories that they require small quantities, so I'll just be able to choose something from stash. But I'm definitely going to do a beanie for a friend also, and some fingerless mitts for a relative. And besides that, I think we've covered all 4 sweaters, all 4 scarves, 2 pairs of fingerless mitts, 2 beanies, and the only thing left is the stockings. So I just got from Joanne, actually the white I already had in stash, but I got the red and green from Joanne. This is just Big Twist. This is just their store brand worsted acrylic. I think it's really great as far as worsted acrylic goes. I mean, I know every brand has their own take on it. This is by far the cheapest you can get near me. When they do sales, it's like $1.99 for this skein, and it's got a lot in it. And it's much softer than a lot of the other brands too. It's softer than Karen. It's softer than Red Heart, definitely. I think it's really great. These are for Christmas stockings. I'm not sure exactly which patterns yet, but my grandmother, who has lovingly knit so many beautiful things for everybody in our family, has knit everyone a Christmas stocking. And she, unfortunately, due to her health, can't knit anymore. But there's some new family members that I definitely need to knit stockings for. We had a wedding this year, so we had someone marry in. And there's also a baby that was born. She was actually born, I think, before last Christmas, but pretty shortly before, so I didn't have a chance. So I'm going to make some Christmas stockings with the same patterns that my grandma used to use, so that everybody still has the traditional Christmas stocking for our family, which makes me so happy, because she's the person that taught me to knit, and I think that that's what it's all about, is carrying on the same traditions and the same hobbies that I think run in my blood. And I am going to be very happy to be able to include our new family members in that tradition, because I'm the only knitter out of all of us. There's quite a few. There's a couple of crocheters out there, but a lot of paper crafting going on. But I'm the only other knitter, so it's on me. All right. So now that I have set out my very ambitious Christmas plans, which I'm sure I will just plow through and knit them all so fast that I'll have plenty of time for little pairs of mittens and extra beanies and all the extra stuff I think I'm going to make people for their Christmas stockings that I definitely won't have time for. Either way, here are my incredibly lofty Christmas plans. Tell me in the comments, what are you making for other people for Christmas? Do you bother, or is it just, not worth the time, because truly 10 months out of the year I'm a selfish knitter and I only make stuff for myself, and then I turn it off in October and only knit until Christmas for other people. And I don't know, it always makes me antsy. By the time I get to Christmas, I'm ready to knit stuff for myself. So are you a selfish knitter like me? Do you knit stuff for Christmas? Are you some sort of hybrid? Tell me what you're making. And I hope to see you back next time. I'll have status updates about these and all of my regular whips and home decor Christmas stuff that I'm sure I'll get sidetracked by in my podcast and my other regular videos. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Merry Christmas.